Okay, even structure. It can be a change-up or it can be standard in the game plan. There's some weeks we go in and we're like, hey, we're going to be an even team this week. We're going to be an odd team this week. We're going to mix it. It's very simple. Okay, how all that stuff I told you about anti-kiss be really, really complicated on offense? Yeah, we don't do that on defense. We don't do that on defense. Complicated means you give up 50. Okay, who's got contain? If you get ain't nobody got contained. You're going to get 70 scored on you. Okay, it better be, coach, I got contained. Okay, I'm a big fan of who is fill, who's contained, who's force. And my coaches that are below the age of 40 go, what the hell is force? I'm like, when this kid gives up contained and the ball's about ready to score, it's the kid that forces it back in or forces it out of bounds. And they're like, oh, I've never heard it called that. I'm like, that's because you're young. Right? That's the thing. If you're over 40, that's the thing. Okay? Clearly defined responsibilities. Our kids have to be consistently told this is your job. And our biggest problem on defense, somebody doing somebody else's job. Well, coach, I know I was supposed to be doing contained, but God, they were running the ball in the B gap. Well, hey, Einstein, now you're diving in the B gap. Do you understand why they just ran fly sweep for 700 yards outside of us? Oh, yeah. Do your job. Don't do his job. Do your job. God, we say that. It's like a broken freaking record. We say it a million times. Do your job. Do your job. No, not his job, your job. What is your job? My job's contain. Then contain. Okay? You just got to keep hammering it. Gap control and covering the O-line is why we like to get an even. Okay? If you like to pull a lot, we want to cover people. We want to cover them up. If you're not a big pull team, we want to get an odd and we want to start changing gaps on you. Okay? That's basically how it goes. Miami and minor options. Miami means 4-3. Minor means 4-3 with a Mike walking down. Miami's 4-3 with a true end coming in the game. I like being in Miami because I learned football as a 4-3 guy. So everything still processes as a 4-3 defense to me. But that was a long fight. It's just finally this year we're using that more because my defense doesn't like that. They're all odd guys. They're all odd guys. My DC was the DC a long time ago. Left. I came in as the head coach. Defense wasn't very good. I talked him out of retirement to come back. So now the old dog is learning new tricks. Okay, and I can't stress enough. It's phenomenal because he doesn't just agree with everything I say. I hate parrot coach. Right? The one that just sits there and agrees with everything. That guy's useless. He does nothing. I also don't like asshole argue everything coach. Okay, they're equal problems. Okay, bring something constructive, but please don't agree with me all the time because I'm not that smart. Disagree, especially on defense. Underfront to the boundary, a lot. We like to put the 3 technique to the field or to the back. It depends. Okay, if you're a big, I'm going to RPO the boundary team, then we'll set the 3 technique to the back. It's called anchoring it so that I can shove 2 linebackers into the boundary and hammer that run game. If you're a big, I want to play it out the other side, then we will line up in a lot of what we call viper, double snake eyes, so that the linebackers are out of the pass fit. And I can show you that on the board. This is one of those things, if you're a note guy and you like to write things down, the defensive line's alignment solves 90% of your coverage problems. If you play a shade 5 to the field, your Mike linebacker can line up outside the box. Right? Like, let's think about it. This is the shade, this is the 5, and I'm the Mike. I can play out here. I can fall all the way back to this gap. But if you put a 3 and a 5, my gap's the A gap. I have to be stacked. Something we didn't know 10 years ago. Okay? It's called the art of the light box. We're trying to make you think we don't have the run completely nailed down. But everybody's got responsibility. And then we do some really cool stuff where we spin a safety into the box late and we play cover 3 behind it and things like that. I love changing how quarterbacks and offensive linemen, okay, this is our belief offensively, can kill anything they can identify. Okay, they've made way too much progress with quarterbacks. If the quarterback knows the coverage, he can beat it. If the offensive line knows the front, mine's going to beat it. I don't care what you tell me, we will beat it. But if we don't know it, we're not very good. That's the games that we lose because our offensive line can't ID the front correctly. You play too many games and we mess it up. The few times we throw an interception, it's because the quarterback is guessing where the coverage is, which is why we don't let him just stand there and throw drop back much anymore, because that's a guessing game. Okay, go ahead, Coach. Okay, personnel. Now, this doesn't mean a lot, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. That's how we identify all of our players. But just to make it really easy for you, the Joker is the boundary linebacker. The Batman is the boundary end or tackle. The Rock and the Edge are the D linemen to the field. Then we have a Will, a Mike, and a Star. The Star is the nickel. Money is the boundary safety. F is the field safety. And corners, we don't like that much anyway. So we just say you get a C. That's all you are. Okay. Now, we will flip the corners. One of our corners is a bigger, stronger kid, and one's shorter and faster. So we will flip them based on matchup. But if it doesn't make a difference, then we don't move them. We'd like them to not move. Safeties move a lot, because one of our safeties is a frickin' guy, and he can cover ground. And one of them is not a guy, but he arrives with a bad attitude most of the time. So we like one of them to be more of a box guy and one of them to be more of a coverage guy. Okay?
So are you running single high mostly?
No. We are running, and I think he put it in the chart, we were about 70-30, 2 high to 1 high.
But you would just spin down
Yeah, but when we spin to 1 high, we're Rip Liz, like Alabama does. We're man match cover 3.
Yeah.
So there's no spot drop.
So you're running like you're handling the vertical with the safety spinning down and then
Yeah.
having the backside.
Every coverage we're in, first thing is, did we cap all verticals?
Yeah.
We never have an uncapped vertical. Well, theoretically, we never have an uncapped vertical. You'll see some clips where you're like, yeah, that so much was uncapped as he runs by, right? But theoretically, everybody's capped. And our kids, when we went to man match versus spot drop, everything was who's got who vertical, who's got 2 vertical, who's got 3 vertical. Because that's all the offense wants to do. They just want to figure out where their vert ball is and get off the field. They just want to score and not put the work in. Okay? So you have to cover all those. And when I do the lecture tomorrow on man match, oh my God, y'all might want to dedicate 3 hours of your time, because I'll go off on that. I love it. And I love all the ways that we match that. That's why people don't throw the ball on us very well. All right, next one. There's our base. So if he calls husky, we are head up, and the Joker and the Star are 3 by 3. If he calls open, they're 5 by 5, or they're apex. We're just widening them out more. If he calls Utah, it's a prevent. They're dropped back in the low seam area so they can carry seams better. But that's basically it. Now, he has ways, like if he calls reduction, that weak end will be over the guard. But if he does that, he's sticking people. He's going to stick and he's going to bring pressure. But those are his 3 base odd front calls. So if you just stripped it down, like the first day we install defense, those are the 3 odd fronts our kids will learn. They don't know there's anything else until we get into the second week install. Okay, go ahead. This is the specialty stuff. So if he calls stack, we're going to be in a 3-3 look. If he calls eagle, we're in a bear. He calls it eagle, I call it bear. And if it's reduction, you can see that Batman, the B, has come in on the guard, and the Joker, he has a rule. If you ever are in the odd package and you have a tackle that is uncovered, that linebacker has to close. So our DC would say reduction is an odd front, not an even front. If you said to him, what is reduction? Oh, that's part of our odd package. And it's the damnedest thing, because I'm like, Coach, there's 4. 4's even number. He's like, no, it's odd with the Joker closing down on an uncovered lineman. And he'll die on that hill. And the kids are like, I said, guy, don't argue with his ass, okay? Yeah, because it's how it presents, right? And he played defensive line at the University of Idaho, and he's a very, very large man. And when he gets pissed, I don't like watching it. So I just say, oh yeah, Coach, that's odd. Yeah, you're right.
Are you just straight up 2 gap? I think with your defensive lineman.
Nobody 2 gaps. Nobody 2 gaps.
Okay.
Not one of them. Huh?
If they don't 2 gap, why do you line them up?
Why not?
Why do you line them head up? Head up. If they're not 2 gap,
Because you don't know which gap they're going to.
you just count on being stronger.
We're counting on getting our ass in the gap.
You know you're stronger.
Yeah. So some of y'all are going to be pissed when I say this. We don't think high school football players can be 2 gappers. Now, Somebody in this room's got a kid that's a two-gapper. He's a guy, and he can do it, right? But I don't. None of my guys are. Well, let me say this. I'm not going to take the time to find out. I'm going to take your big, strong, physical ass, and I'm going to stick you in a gap, and I'm going to cancel that one. And now I know which gap I got to deal with. Which is why I say, why don't we just line up in the 40? Because we're stunting to a 40.
But you don't two gap, but did you ever have like, it would be like a heavy 5, I guess, in a 40 where your guy is basically, it's a read gap. So if they're stepping away, now he's just taking what the
Oh, yeah.
offense gives him. So
Yeah, we'll read the visual key. We'll read it and determine what gap we're taking.
It's not like a physical two gap, but he could still be playing.
We don't do this. We don't say, there's a guy, here's a guy, you got both gaps. But we will say, when he steps, you have canceled this gap. Now, when the ball travels, take another one.
Yeah, it's like the modern two gap.
Yes. But we just don't, we don't trust them, and we don't trust ourselves to line up and say, you're just better, go get that gap. Because everybody we play is bigger than us. But now, I will line up in the 40, and I will give you the shade 5, and then we will pirate a gap, which means we will give up contain. We'll tell our defensive end to come high hat and take the B gap right now. And our linebacker will play contain as he drops. Yeah, to the boundary most. Now, what we've started doing this year is we've started calling Buccaneer, which means the DN just lines up in the B gap. He lines up in a 4-eye and takes it. And the Mike, so if he's the 4-eye, the Mike is out here playing contain. How do we get away with that? Because you don't call very good plays. You should run frickin' outside zone speed option to that all day long. But you don't, because your candy little ass wants to throw RPOs and throw drop back. So our Mike drops back, and he walls 3. And we get away with it all the time. Because I fundamentally don't really respect what a lot of offensive coordinators do. You have to be balanced. Okay? If you're better than me, then it's not impressive you win. If you got better players, then you should win. And that happens. I'm not that good, right? Like, you got 11 kids better than mine, I'm probably going to lose. I love that. I've been asked that question so many times. People go, Coach, what do you do if they got better D linemen up front and they can play cover 0 every play? I'm like, drink a beer. Wait till next week. On to the next one. Because you ain't going to win, right? But most OCs have tendencies. And you don't need a contained player every play. That's like, oh my God, you should have seen my defensive staff when I told them that. You thought I'd come in and worship the devil. They're like, oh my God, we got to play contain. I'm like, yeah, no. You can play contain from odd places. Now you're forcing the OC to turn the next page of the playbook. Does he violate contain? Some of them never do. I see your defensive end in the B gap, the ball is coming that way. You can be sure as hell that ball is coming on pin and pull or outside zone now. Right now. I'm going to call it, and I'm going to call it and call it and call it. Because I ain't going to have you do that. Because that screws up a lot of stuff we do. But a lot of people don't do it.
Coach, how much eagle do you run?
Okay, so that eagle right there is our default answer to two tight. If you give us now, I was 100% wrong on this. Because when I hired our DC, I was like, we're going to get in head-ups, in a 40 front, and play static defense. Play 4-4 static defense. And he's like, give me one day, and I'll convince you you never want to do it again. And I watched him run eagle, and I was like, you're right, I'm wrong. Done. So now we eagle everybody. Like those double wing teams, done. Dead on arrival. We get in that, and we roll both safeties down into what's called invert, and they play the tight end. Tight end blocks down, come on. Now we got 4 linebackers, corners. But now the problem is we screw up every single year we play a double wing team. We will give up a play action corner for a touchdown. I mean, we just take bets on Sunday. We're like, which corner gives it up and which quarter is it going to be? Because we're giving one up, and we did. And actually, they gave us our only conference loss doing that. They beat us 8-7 in a rainstorm. We shut them out, and they threw a 99-yard corner route on 3rd and 13. And our corner's just like, hey, look, that kid, one-man route. 10 guys blocked, one-man ran a route. So I'm not a very good coach. But we held them to 71 rushing yards or something. It was embarrassing. And then we forgot one guy is running. You're in the double wing. Why do you think he's running vertical past you, son? Well, Coach, I thought he was decoying me. Yeah. Yeah, he was decoying your intelligence. Okay, so yeah, Eagle is our come home to mama in 2 tights. And we have a 1-word call. We don't even call it anymore. As soon as our kids see 2 tights, bam, they call it. And they get an Eagle right now. Even if they're in a 40, they jump out of it and they get into that. So it's been really good. All right, next one. This is his shade stuff, okay? Now, I had to make him do this because he calls over and under different than I call over and under. If I have a tight end in the game and you have a 3 technique to the tight end, that's over. Are we all good on that one? Does that hurt anybody's feelings? Okay, but I'll tell my linemen we're running to the under this week. Means we're going to pull to the shade. And so I talk like that, and oh my God, that overcooked everybody's grits. Everybody was in a bad mood because we're talking about being an over but running to the under. So what we do is, if I want the 3 technique to the right, he'll call Raider. As soon as he says the word Raider, they're in a 40 front. They're head up on the guards. If he says River, the 3 techniques to the right. If he says Laker, 3 techniques to the left. Now it's set. Viper, they're in snake eyes, double A's. Booster, they're in double B's. Anything that ends in an R is a 40 front call. Done, end of story. Move on. Makes life simple. Obviously, you're going to be in booster if you're running line games, right? You're going to be twist stunting something back to the A gap. You're not going to give them that, right? Now, we do have some teams that will not run the ball even when you leave double A gaps open. I can't figure it out. We tell our kids, if there's ever not 13 people in the A gap, by God, we're running the A gap. I mean, we dominate the A gap. We actually have shirts made that say, and our linemen wear them to school, that say legends were built in the A gaps. That's our home. Because we talk about all the time, the A gaps is trench warfare. It is bayonet warfare. There ain't no smart bombs in the A gap. Somebody's getting stabbed down there. And so we take those away.
So River and Laker, is there rules where you're saying, like, we want to run our 3 tech to the back this week, so if we're calling facility, like, we want to be River or Laker?
100%, yeah. So what he'll do is, on the scouting report he gives them, there'll be default rules. So the first team we play, I can tell you what one of the rules is going to be. They never play with an inline tight end. It's like 3 times a game. So when they do, it is default 3 tech to the tight end. Done. Most teams, if they have a wing tight end, a Y off the ball, we will over to that. There are certain calls he'll make, like if it's trips into the boundary, he'll have like if the back is away from trips, he'll have a this. If the back is 2 trips, he'll have a that. All that's in the scouting report.
Is it divorced, like front, secondary?
Yes, completely. The nickel ignores all that and plays his rule. Now, what I put the River and the Laker in there because it's too damn much stuff for me to process when I'm snooping on their headset. And I start losing my freaking mind. I'm like, no, I want the 3 technique to the field. Then he can just go, check Laker, check River. So I put that in as a fail-safe in case I'm pissed and I want to move it. But he's got it all scouting reported out. I would say that's probably the best thing our defensive staff does. They know everything you do. Everything. I mean, down to, he will watch every snap of every single game, break it down, and put it in a tendency chart. We will know if you get into 2 backs, we will know what plays you run, what percentage of the time you run them, what gaps you run them to, which side boundary or field you run them to, and the numbers that you change the personnel group in, and it's all typed up for the kids on Monday when they walk in the door. They watch a stupid amount of film. And I feel so bad for them because we're sitting with a big screen in the offensive room. We're like, let's get in quads. Let's really piss with them. They've never seen this. And we're just playing around with damn dry erase markers. And I go over to the defensive staff room, and they all just look like burned out, angry human beings because they're just data report after data report after data report. But that's what works. Our kids know what you are going to try to do. Our kids are never unprepared. Now, we can't physically always stop you, but we'll always know what you're doing. Yes, sir?
Do you bring a Wildcat out of the booster 2x2 on the slant?
So down here in the bottom right, we'll bring a will where?
Wildcat, so C gap lets out of the weak side.
Yeah, so
B goes A gap, slant, J slants in, goes B gap.
yes. When I do his stunts and fronts and pressures tomorrow, you'll see it. He's got one where the Batman will step up and take contain.
Exactly.
and Joker will take B. He's got another one where he'll go contain, he'll go A. He's got another one where they will both stick a gap and the will comes off the edge. Then he's got one where they both fire and he takes A. He's got one where he goes C and he goes B. I mean, it's damn witchcraft. I get so sick of watching it. We just call power. We just put a tight end in the game and run their ass over. I get sick of it. Okay, but again, let me say this because I think in clinic talk, people get all these highfalutin ideas and they forget some of the base principles. Every good defense has an edge. Every good offense creates them. Every good offense creates them and manipulates them. If you are a 10P spread team, 2x2, no tight end, no fullback, you have 2 open flanks of your own offense. Means you forfeited both edges to the defense. Did you not? They can get 4-4, they can get 3-4, they can go 4-2-5, play palms, play cover 2. They can do whatever they want. Now, do I do that? Do I get in 10P? Absolutely. But don't do it too many times. Because we beat people all the time who give us 2 open sides of their offense. And we double edge them and they can't go anywhere. They can't get outside of you. So we call it dragging them into deep water. We tell them where the ball has to go and then we just pound and pound and pound on their players. And think about it. You play offense fundamentally because you're a finesse pretty boy. You play defense because you got a bad attitude about life. So we're going to make your finesse guys go places they don't want to go. We're going to drag you right back down into the box. Now, if you use tight ends, you can't do that. So even if we don't have a tight end, we'll play with a tight end. We'll make a kid learn to play tight end because it fundamentally shifts how the defense has to present.